Welcome to the channel, everyone. I'm Chris from Dark Hour Tech, or you may know me as Dark Hour 717 from the Star Citizen universe. Today, we're here to talk about immersion in video games, and one specific element of immersion to be exact. Before we get into this, though, if you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, as well as the notifications for any future videos, as it really does help the channel, and I appreciate it as it gets it through the algorithm of YouTube out for more to see. Immersion is actually something that is very important to video games. It allows a player to become invested in the story, the action, and gameplay, as well as the characters themselves. Immersion can be created in many ways, and that's going to be through interactions within the game, as well as the gameplay quality, the audio quality, and the storyline, as well as through the peripherals that you use to play the game. If you want to check out a video that I've done in the past about different peripherals that you can use for Star Citizen specifically, but games overall as well, check out the link in the thing up here, or it'll be in the description to go over those peripherals. The purpose of immersion in games is to create the desire for a gamer to come back and complete a standalone game or even a franchise. Many games have accomplished this, such as Halo, Devil May Cry, Red Dead Redemption, Final Fantasy, and many, many more. Some of the ways that immersion is actually created is through the peripherals, as I mentioned before, and a small but effective way is through head tracking and eye tracking. These features and peripherals allow another level of control and interaction within a game, and they are popular in flight sims, driving sims, and FPS shooters. There are a couple of well-known eye and head tracking units, such as Track IR or even Tobii Eye Tracker 5, which many of us are familiar with the Star Citizen community. In their own right, Track IR and Tobii Eye Tracker 5 are amazing pieces of equipment and offer another level of control in the game that is fun to use and allows you to take advantage of some of the features built into the games that you use them with. But they do come at somewhat of a price. Track IR on its own for the equipment can cost $200 or more, depending on what you get, and Tobii Eye Tracker 5 can actually cost up to $300. Now, some game studios and all that offer discounts with their partnerships with things like Tobii Eye Tracker 5, where you'll get a discounted price on it, but the price is still well above $200. And that is still a healthy chunk of money that you're paying out for a feature that's not even absolutely necessary to have in the game. It's a nice have, but it's not going to keep you from finishing the game or enjoying the story or completing the game altogether. But for the budget-minded gamer, that it does mean that if someone is not wanting to spend that much of a cost, that you miss out on some of those extra features. Today, we're going to be looking at a solution for the more budget-minded gamer, and one that allows you to take advantage of all the eye and head tracking capabilities within a game at a much more wallet-friendly price. And that's going to be Beam Eye Tracker. I actually downloaded this off of Steam, gave it a test, and this is going to be pretty much a review of what I experienced working with it, as well as the features that it offers and whether it really did cover all the different elements that Track IR and Tobii Eye Tracker 5 can provide. Overall, we'll be able to see if this is going to be a viable option, as well as what to expect when installing it, as well as a rundown on the system and how it allows for eye and head tracking utilizing minimal equipment and minimal cost. I will say this one plus side to Beam Eye Tracker is it does allow you to take your current webcam that you have on your PC or laptop and turn it into a head tracking unit. And for those that don't currently have a webcam, aside from the cost of the software, there's still minimal cost with just buying a webcam that you can get cheaply off Amazon for as little as $25-30. Beam Eye Tracker currently is listed as working with over 200 different games, including flight sims, driving sims, Star Citizen, as well as FPS shooters. And it gives you the added functionality to be able to work using your cell phone and apps off the Apple Store or the Google Play Store to turn your cell phone into a functioning webcam that can offer you the eye tracking, head tracking capability. But the big question is it worth it? And does it work functionally within the game and provide you the features at the same level as a Track IR or a Tobii Eye Tracker 5? Well, we're going to install it and we're going to check it out together and we'll make a determination from there. Go ahead and go back here. Once we actually have that from the Steam store, we'll go over to our library. It'll be in our library here. We're going to head and we are going to hit install and put it on our Steam drive. and that's going to install fairly quickly. All right, and it is ready to go. You can hit that launch button here on Steam. You'll also see it puts a desktop icon for you there as well too. And this is what's going to pop up first. You can read the privacy notice, basically stating your webcam is going to be used for real-time eye tracking, and basically all the work is done locally on your machine, and you can tell it not to show that again if you don't want to. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to select the webcam that you're going to use. Because I have multiple webcams for recording purposes, I actually have a Razer webcam here that I'm going to use specifically for this, and we're going to go ahead and give that a test. And there we go. We've got our Razer cam is actually up and running. Default setting is going to be 1280 by 720 at 60 frames per second. You can actually change that up or down however you see fit. You can change it to 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames. You can adjust it as you need to, but I generally tend to just leave it on the default. The exclusive shared I'll go over a little bit later, but you want to leave it on exclusive, and we're going to go ahead and hit next. Next thing you have to do is tell it where your webcam is located. For me, because I run 4 monitors here, I'm on the monitor that I game on is going to be the center monitor, and I have the camera in the top position. So we're going to go ahead and select that and hit next. All right, the next thing you're going to get here, and this is a very important one because it's going to be basically whether you have a tilt up, down, or no tilt whatsoever with the camera. My camera is actually slightly above my eyes, so I do select the down tilt, and that can be up to negative 20 degrees. I do find that if I try to tell it no tilt, it places my eyes way up high on the screen, and everything runs better with the down tilt because it is slightly higher. If you're underneath your monitor or you're on a laptop, the up tilt is probably going to be what you want to use. And of course, no tilt is if it's dead even with the level of your eyes. And we're going to go ahead and hit next. And there we go. We can see our eyes are located in the center of the screen there. You can see the movement as I move my head around. So that means that the system is seeing the webcam and it is being able to transfer my motion into the eye tracking software. So you'll hit start and you'll do a quick calibration by looking at the dot and then left clicking on it as you're looking at the center of the dot. When you're all done, click again. Gives you a quick tip about quick recalibration using Alt-C. Only thing with this, be careful what game you're playing if that is bound to something within the game that can cause issues. And then we get the small window here that has a couple of things that we can do here. One, you can set up for gaming, productivity, and such. And you can see that there's no eyes here, meaning that it's not seeing my eyes right now. For the gaming function, you have to turn on the gaming extension, and that's going to be this tab here. So we turn that on, and this window is going to pop up talking about the gaming extensions and the fact that we go in here. It tells us we need OpenTrack, and that allows the information coming from the Beam eyewear tracker be translated and put into your game so that your game interacts with how the eye tracking software is seeing you move around. So we're going to go ahead and click this. It'll give us a setup guide, and this is a complete walkthrough how to configure, set up, and calibrate the Beam eye tracker system. But if we go down here, we'll see that it shows here on step 3, OpenTrack PC software. This is free software. So you're going to click that, and it's going to download it for you. And then once that download is all set, you can actually come right up here to it and install it. And you're just going to do all the default settings. None of these programs require elevated permissions or anything. So if you're running a little tighter security on your system, you don't have to give it admin rights or anything like that. Just the defaults, it will work fine. And that's going to launch OpenTrack. We're going to push this off to the side here for a quick second as we'll look at the rest of the instructions here. It tells you and walks you through on what you need to do to set up OpenTrack to work with Beam Eye software. As far as setting it up within your game, it does not give you directions specific to the game that you're playing, but just setting up the system to work, and then you'll want to refer to your games tutorials as far as how to set up your eye tracking in games that it's compatible with. So we're going to go ahead and close this out. And then we are going to go ahead and tell it not to show that. And we are going to close that out. And we have our OpenTrack here. And with OpenTrack, what you're going to do, first of all, is you're going to come here to input and you're going to select eyewear beam. And that's going to mean that it's going to be pulling everything from the Beam eyewear tracker software. Then you're going to go to profile and you're going to create a new empty configuration. And you can actually create configurations based on whatever games that you're going to be playing, in case different keybinds are needed within those games. Generally, one configuration will be fine for multiple games. I mostly use this in Star Citizen itself. So we're going to call this Star Citizen. We hit OK. And then we're going to get to where we're going to basically set up the recenter button. And we go into options and you'll see center in the top left corner here. And you're going to bind that to a key for quick recentering. And in Star Citizen, for my keybind setups and all that, I know that the decimal point on the number pad is not used for anything. So I will bind that so I can quickly hit a key and recenter everything. And of course, it is set by default to center at startup. So we will go ahead and say OK on there. And this is all set and running. You can bring your window up back here. And of course, you see your eyes here. Now we have to just hit the start button here on OpenTrack. And there we go. We have our eye tracking is moving and reporting, and that will be converted into the game. And then what we're going to do is we are going to minimize that. And then all we have to do is launch into the game and we'll get it set up in game here for us. All right, so you're going to come over here to FOIP and head tracking. All right, and then what you're going to select is change this to track IR. And then you want to turn the toggle on. What the toggle on will allow you to do is to make the / on the number pad turn your head tracking on and off. That way, if you're in a situation or you're not in the mood to use it, you can quickly toggle it on and off using that / on the number pad. All right, next thing we're going to do is you'll see that there's many different options down here. I recommend to leave auto recalibrate on and the offsets. I usually just leave everything default. It works fine for me. You can adjust it however you see fit. Then you have the ability to have it automatically stop head tracking during certain actions. During interact mode, I do like to have it disabled so that I can focus on just what I'm interacting with. During FPS, I don't disable it until I aim down sight. So when I'm in FPS, I have head tracking, but as soon as I right click to aim down sight, it turns off and I focus in on my reticle. And then you can also have it turned off during mobiGlass. It just makes for a smoother and easier mobiGlass use. Enable roll and see, I leave on yes. I've never noticed an issue with it. And enable roll in FPS, I have that set to no. So then after basically setting through the disables and all that, I'll leave everything else as default. And then you can go ahead and back out. And then we can go ahead and launch in game. All right, so here we are in game. And again, that / on the number pad will turn the head tracking on and off. And as you can see, I can look around my hab. And as you can see, when we go in third person here, when I turn my head, it moves my character's head in game. All right, one big thing to remember with this is it's set to move with your head, but also your eyes. So as you look around, it will also look around and move your character's head in accordance with that. All right. All right, let's go there. Sunset over there. All right, so we're going to head over to Lyria, and we are going to take on this mission. All right, and there we go. Mission is done. Now we're trespassing. Let's get on out of here. Now, the one thing about the eye tracking is that this also allows you to lean forward and lean back as well. It can register some of that. Much like the Tobii does allow you to do the same. But in air to air, it does allow you to look out your windows towards your next target. All right, let's take these guys out. The head tracking, though, does work just as well as what Tobii Eye Tracker 5 works with Star Citizen. It's definitely responsive and very easy to use. Oh, these guys are bugging out. Ah, freaking. Yeah, they are glitching. What the hell? All right, well, that's not the eye tracking that did that. That's Star Citizen. That is definitely Star Citizen that caused that. Oh, I hope I don't have trespassing. I really don't want to go to Klesher. I would say some definite desync there caused that one. All right, well, at least I'm on Area 18. I'm dead and down the ship. But as you can see, the head tracking itself actually is responsive and actually works just as well as what I would get with the Tobii Eye Tracker 5. The best thing about it is, again, the budget-friendly aspect of it, that you can take a current webcam that you have and for $30 turn it into a head tracking unit that works as well as a $200 one. Some things I talked about previously with the exclusive of the shared aspect of BMI Tracker. The shared is to be able to share that webcam between multiple applications. If you're a streamer, you're using OBS, Streamlabs OBS, or something like that, where your camera is your main camera to show you on your stream, sharing it with BMI Tracker isn't very functional. I got a lot of lag. I got a lot of non-responsiveness through it, and it didn't seem that the streaming software really wanted to capture the video sharing it with the BMI Tracker. I also tested doing the C920 through Logic Capture and just using Logic Capture for both or Logic Capture for one with the direct camera for the other. And it just didn't work well. So I would say as far as cons for the Beam Eye Tracker, if you're a streamer with limited cameras, trying to use it with the shared aspect just does not work well enough to utilize the eye tracking within the game. I would definitely recommend picking up another $25–$30 camera or even a C920 or something like that and just mount it next to your existing camera. Use it as a standalone camera for Beam Eye Tracker. It definitely does seem more responsive when the camera is not shared. Pros for the system. I mean, overall, it works just as well as you can see here as the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 or Track IR. There's no hardware that you have to mount to the side of your headset, which was a huge bonus for me because that's what steered me away from Track IR. And it doesn't have the cost. $200, $300 for Track IR or Tobii Eye Tracker 5. They're great systems and they work spectacularly. But if you're more budget conscious or you don't want to invest that much into a piece of equipment for your computer, then something like Beam Eye Tracker definitely is the resolution for that, to be able to use the software to convert your existing web camera into an eye tracking system that works just as well. All right, so another aspect of Beam Eye Tracker that I was not a huge fan of. And when we bring up the window here, we have the eye tracking overlay. The overlay, I find, is not that accurate. Now, the eye tracking within the game and everything works great. The overlay is more for presentation. As you can see, it keeps going off the screen. It really is not that reliable. I don't really see too much purpose in which I would use the overlay, so that doesn't bother me. But for somebody that maybe want to do a stream that you're showing what you're looking at, things like that, then you could definitely use the overlay, but it's simply just turning it off here will make that overlay go away and it doesn't become an issue. That would be the only other downfall I can see with Beam Eye Tracker, is the overlay doesn't have the best accuracy. The eye tracking itself within game, it is working extremely well, and I would say comparable to the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 or the Track IR. And like I said, those pros and cons are definitely minimal for the cons, and the pros definitely being the biggest one, the price. But if you want to check out the Beam Eye Tracker for yourself, click the link in the description, take you over to the Steam store to check that out. Definitely well worth the $30 that you pay for that, or even if you end up having to pay $55 to get yourself a webcam, it is well worth it and save yourself that money and be able to take care of these features. And as I mentioned, it's compatible in over 200 different games. Definitely well worth it to increase that immersion in the game and kind of pull you into being invested in the game a little bit more as far as your interactions with it and the feel of the game itself. That pretty much brings us to the end. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments, or hit me up in the comments if you're a current Beam Eye Tracker user. I would definitely love to hear your experience with it. And also don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and the notifications for future videos. Appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate the support. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful afternoon, day, or evening, wherever you're at. And we hopefully will see you next time.